premature baby was thrown down the drain by his parents. Luckily, he was saved by firefighters. The firefighters couldn't understand why his parents didn't want to raise him. If they didn't want to raise it, why did they give birth to it in the first place? He put his finger in the baby's hand and told him he had to live. It was as if the baby understood him. The baby's tiny hand gripped his fingers desperately. The man looked at the doctor with wonder and surprise in his eyes. He had a bold idea right away. He wanted to adopt the baby, but his wife was too sick to have children. He was afraid that his wife would be too worried. So every day when he came home, he talked to his wife about the baby. Gradually, his wife became curious about the child, so the next day they went to the orphanage. When the woman saw the child, she couldn't take her hands off him. It was the baby she'd always dreamed of. From then on, the woman came to see the baby every day. She fed him and put him to bed. She took the baby as her own. But one day she came to her husband in a panic. She said the baby would soon be adopted. She couldn't bear to let go. The man calmly said, "Then we'll adopt him." The wife was very happy and asked him if he was serious. The man said he'd wanted to adopt the child for a long time, but he was afraid you wouldn't agree, so he didn't dare to say anything. The wife was very excited. She swore that she would love him very much in the future. Then they named the child Han Kelu. From then on, Kelu became the mascot of the firehouse. He grew up in a loving environment, but it didn't last long. A few years later, the woman had terminal cancer. Kelu asked his mom why she kept crying. Mom said she was so happy. "Thank you for making me realize the joy of being a mother. It's the best thing that ever happened to me." In the end, Mom was sad to leave Kelu. Father and son returned home in sadness. Kelu opened every door and kept looking for his loving mom. His father told him that his mother had passed away. This was a terrible shock to Kelu. Since then, he became autistic. After 10 years, his father quit his job as a fireman. The two of them became funeral arrangers because it was the perfect career for him. He didn't need to be around people too much. He was only responsible for cleaning up after the dead and get to know them inside out. Because his father told him that if he looked carefully at the remains of the dead, he could feel what they wanted to say. Though their lives were dull, they were still content with each other. But God was unfair. On his way home, Dad had a heart attack and fell to the ground. No one dared to help him. Just a glance. In the end, he died of a heart attack. He was most worried about Kelu. Kelu had become autistic after losing his mom. He was always quiet and didn't like to interact with the world. He didn't know how his son would face the rest of his life after his death. But the day after his death, an unexpected visitor came to the house. He wanted to take over Kelu's house.